Hey everyone, welcome to the episode of That's All Funny, episode number 680. We're doing it. We're here. We're yeah. No, I'm about the same here today. Got a doctor's appointment. Uh Look forward to That's All Kayfabe. If you're like wrestling, that podcast should be coming out. Well, it should already be out as you listen to this. So check it out. That's All Kayfabe, where we talk about wrestling. Me and my buddy Gabe. And I was on pills a little bit. I had taken my pills because of my anxiety, and I was just like, But no, otherwise it's just another Monday. We're doing it. Like I said, today I was looking at the news and the news isn't all that. So I wanted to read a story that I wrote. Man, I don't even know how long it's been since I wrote the story because I had changed it a bit, but it has to be again at least 20, not 20, at least 15 years old of a story that I wrote, and I might have to not censor it a bit, at least censor the title whenever I put it over, uh, on a title on the fucking thing. But the story is called "The Kill Yourself Club" by me, and you'll see why it's called "The Kill Yourself Club." Not to be confused with the movie "The Suicide Club," which I had no idea existed, but I would like to see it. I still haven't seen it. That was some, I want to say, Japanese movie that is interesting and I need to watch, but uh there's one called The Suicide Club, which is kind of, I remember when I mentioned the story of the Kill Yourself Club to like someone, they were like, "Oh, this sounds like The Suicide Club." I'm like, "What? You're telling me the Japanese already took my idea?" They've done that before. I remember having the idea of a CD player back when we had CD players, the ones that didn't skip, like you'd put your CD in there. But I had an idea of a CD player with speakers built into it instead of like a boombox. It was a CD player, and then that came out like the next year by like Panasonic, and I was like, "What the fuck? The Japanese are taking my ideas, like spying on us." That's why I believe all these the Chinese or whoever are spying on us. But yeah, it's just a bunch of, I don't know, whatever. That's just life, right? We're used to it now. But let me read this story here called "The Kill Yourself Club." Let's get into this. Man, this sucks. Chris was running late for school. He quickly threw on any jeans he could find, but still had to wait for a clean shirt out of the dryer. Christopher, make sure you feed Robin before you leave, his mother yelled from upstairs. Shit. Chris had forgotten it was his turn to feed the cat. He rummaged through the kitchen and found a can of cat food. Started opening it. He stared at the cat. Damn, you eat really well for a stupid cat. Chris began struggling with the can and was only able to get it half open. He grabbed a butter knife from the sink and tried prying the rest of it. Fuck, Chris yelled. While trying to open it, the razor sharp can lid cut him on the wrist. Not a really deep cut, but just enough to start bleeding. He pointed at that cat. This is all because of you, Robin. When you die, I hope you get reincarnated into a soccer ball. Chris found a wrist bandage and wrapped up his wound. He was about to walk out the door when he heard his mother yell yet again. And don't forget to take out the trash. Son of a bitch. Chris ran and took the trash out. He could see his bus as it drove by his stop. Damn, Chris hurried towards the bus and was lucky enough to catch it at the stop sign. Noon quickly came and lunch was here. Chris grabbed his usual large slice of pizza and sat at a table by himself. He had a shitload of napkins with him, and one by one he put them over the slice of pizza to get as much grease off of it as he could. He bit into his meal when out of the corner of his eye he noticed a girl from the golf table looking at him. She's pretty good, Chris thought. She had a pretty huge rack on her. Put his head down after staring at her chest to avoid her seeing him. Chris continued to eat. The goth girl got up from where she was sitting and walked over to Chris. She sat down and grabbed his hand with the cut on it. How'd you get this? She asked. Oh, Chris didn't want to look like a pussy in front of this girl, so he lied. I tried to commit suicide last night. It was the first thing that he could think of considering who was sitting in front of him. Wow, that's pretty cool. She pulled up her sleeve on her jacket. She had several healed cuts and scars on her arm. I cut myself too, but only when I'm really depressed, though. Most of these cuts are from not making color guard, but some are from my boyfriend dumping me. So you're single then? She had some really big tits, so Chris decided to put the boobs on her now. Yeah, but I'm over him now. We've been broken up for the last 20 days, and I could care less about the bastard. The bell rang, and all of the children began exiting the cafeteria. The goth girl stood up from her seat. Well, I better get going. Uh, all right, I'll see you around. Chris hadn't asked her name. My name's Ashley, she answered for him. Cool, I'm Chris. Chris. Ashley took a permanent marker out of her pocket. She began writing on his arm. Here's my number, Chris. Why don't you call me after school and maybe you'd come over? We could talk some more. Cool. Chris felt like a badass getting this tig old bitty chick's number. After school, Chris called Ashley up and she invited him over to her house. Chris sat on her bed while she was looking at the computer. What are you looking at? Chris was curious to know. It's one of my favorite websites, slownewsday.com. It has some of the funniest news on it. I can't help but just laugh at them. Ashley smiled. What's one of them? Chris was interested. Let me see here. The third best person to ever play the Xbox game Halo 2 was killed today. Really? How did he die? He took an SMG to school, went on a killing spree, and was taken out by a headshot. They both laughed. Are there any more? Yeah, here's another one. A few weeks ago, a couple of teenagers were caught swimming at a river in 50-degree weather. And what happened? Nothing. Nothing. Chris was confused. Yeah, nothing. Oh, okay. Wait, here's a good one. A few days ago, a woman reported that her husband had died while they were having sex. Seriously? Yeah, but here's the funny part. She was quoted on saying it was the best sex she ever had. Ashley laughed. That's fucking crazy shit. Yeah, that is. Chris stood up from her bed and went over to Ashley's desk. So you write a lot, don't you? You could see a lot of notebooks sprawled up open on her desk with different scribbling. Yeah, just poetry though. I've tried writing short stories, but all I could ever write about was a guy in a green trench coat. I'm gonna read one. Chris grabbed one of the books and laid back down on the bed. He began reading one of her poems out loud. The oil's so slippery, I don't remember a thing. I remember the bullet I shot at the innocent girl. She seemed so happy leaving this world. My hands are shaking, but I was ready. Who knew I could be so deadly? Ashley got out of the chair to lay on the bed with Chris. She grabbed Chris's hands and put them on her fat chest. Hell yeah, was all Chris could say as they proceeded to make out on Ashley's bed. The next few weeks, Chris and Ashley saw each other every day and grew fonder of one another. One day, Chris came into Ashley's room with some news. Hey, Ashley, you'll never guess what I saw last night on the internet, Chris said while sitting on the foot of her bed. What's that, Chris? Ashley asked while on the computer. Well, last night I put a Google search on Asian schoolgirls and found. Ashley turned around. What were you doing searching for Asian schoolgirls? Um, that's not important. Anyway, I found a short clip of this Japanese movie. It was called The Suicide Club, I believe. Really? Ashley said, and should. Yep, I'm not sure what the movie was about, but in the first few minutes, they had like 15 or 20 Asian schoolgirls stand next to like a subway train or something. Then they all held hands, counted to three, and jumped down on the tracks with the train coming at them. Man, there was so much blood everywhere. It was so hardcore. Holy shit, that sounds so fucking cool, Ashley said. It was. Got me thinking, though, Ashley, why don't we start our own suicide club? We can find all the kids at the school who share our love for self mutilation and suicide contemplating. That is such a great idea, Chris. We can have it after school every Wednesday. Oh, but what will we name the club? Don't worry, Ashley. I have the perfect name for this club. The next day, Ashley and Chris both put in the word out on the Kill Yourself Club, and at the first meeting, they had just half a dozen people show up. Why don't more people show up, Chris? Ashley seemed disappointed. Well, I kind of forgot those flyers you gave me to pass out at the house, Chris admitted. Damn it, Chris, how could you forget something like that? Look, my bad. Why don't we just get on with today's meeting? I'm sure more people will show up next week, what with the school's propaganda. Fine, but you better remember next week, Ashley said angrily. I will, jeez. Ashley approached all the teenagers talking to one another and addressed them. I want to thank you all for coming today to the first meeting of the Kill Yourself Club. Here we can talk about different ways to kill ourselves, stories you may have heard of suicide, or you can just hang out here with us after school because it's way better than going watching the stupid color guard practice after school. So if anyone has anything they would like to talk about, go right ahead. I'll start, a student stood up. I always wanted to hang myself in my room on my ceiling fan with my extension cord. So when my father walks in, he'll know he pushed me too far. But I'm worried my fan wouldn't support my body weight. Yeah, I don't think a fan would support a person's weight, another student answered. I'm not saying you're fat, but I don't think ceiling fans were made to hold the weight of a person. You know what I'd like to do? You know how it says not to swallow mouthwash because it's like bad to swallow? Well, I would drink like one or two bottles of mouthwash and just die. Then I bet I'd be the best smelling body at the morgue. Everyone laughed. Well, Chris and I stay up till 2 in the morning every night, writing out different ways we could romantically die in each other's arms. Chris, You have the book with you, don't you? Chris opened his backpack and rummaged through it, unable to locate it. Damn, Chris said under his breath. Don't tell me you forgot that too. Are you serious, Chris? God damn it. Ashley was angry. She looked at the crowd. Sorry about my boyfriend. Despite his forgetful memory, I assure you all that we have the best ways to kill ourselves. Yeah, but you wouldn't actually go through with it. Ashley turned to the doorway to see Valerie, the captain of the color guard team, standing there. Of course we would, Valerie. Why wouldn't we? Tell her, Chris. Ashley's right. We have nothing to live for but each other. Ashley, you're such a hypocrite. You and I both know that you're too scared to go through any of this. You just formed this stupid club so you would have sent you after school because you didn't make the team. Shut up, Valerie. You know what? This weekend at the abandoned train station, Chris and I are going to kill ourselves, and we'll tape it too, so that way you can see the we aren't just a bunch of hypocrites. You stupid dork. You and anyone who wants to come by after midnight, and you will find mine and Chris's dead bodies. Valerie smiled. I'll bring the team along with me. It was 20 after 11 when Chris and Ashley showed up at the train station. Okay, Chris, did you bring the handguns? Ashley asked while setting up the camera. Yeah, I brought them, he quickly replied. Finally, you remember something, Chris. I swear that memory of yours. They're loaded too, right? Yeah, yeah. We need to hurry. It's already 15 till, Ashley. All right, Chris. You and I each get a handgun. We put them in each other's mouths and pull the triggers and romantically blow each other's brains out. Sounds good to me. Chris handed her a gun. Okay, on the count of three, Chris, they put the guns in one another's mouths. Rudy, Ashley mumbled, yes. One, two, three, boom. Chris fell to the ground, his head a bloody mess. Ashley stood there, shivering, still alive. What happened? Ashley was shaking. She looked down at Chris's gun on the ground and picked it up. You forgot to load your fucking gun, you piece of shit, Chris. She looked down at her now deceased boyfriend and noticed that he had a nice bulge at the crotch of his pants. She thought for a moment and started to take her pants off and his too. About 5 minutes after midnight, the members of the Kill Yourself Club and Valerie, with half of the color guard team, walked into the train station and found Ashley having sex with her dead boyfriend. The next week, the club showed up as scheduled, but Ashley was nowhere to be seen. I heard she was charged with the murder of her boyfriend and necrophilia. They got it all on tape, too. That is some hardcore sick shit, a student gossiped. Hello! The members turned to the doorway to see a student standing there. Is this where the KY Club meets? He asked, holding a flyer. Yeah, this is it, a member answered him. Great. I just have to have one question, though. Do we have to bring our own jelly? The end. That's that's the Kill Yourself Club. So yeah, you see what happened. Chris started out as forgetful. He ended up forgetful at the end. Didn't load the guns right, and he ended up dead. Um, and then there was the point where the best sex with a dead body was the best a woman ever had, and so Ashley did that. And you have the punchline that the Flyers had to say the KY Club to hide the fact that it was about killing yourself, and yeah, a gay guy showed up and said about bringing your own jelly because it's like KY jelly. So yeah, no, that's the Kill Yourself Club. I hope everyone enjoyed that story. I remember, yeah, like I said, writing it years ago and adding to it, and then finally, I think it ended originally where they killed where he forgot to load the gun, but a lot of people thought he meant to do it on purpose and just load her gun so she would get shot. But um, yeah, I don't know. I like the story, and I need to watch the Suicide Club to compare it to. But otherwise, that's I want to thank y'all for listening. That's all funny. That's all funny. Available anywhere podcasts available. Just search That's So Funny. Podcast my buddy Gabe. Well, that's okay. Should be coming out. Today. Check it out. That's all kayfabe podcast available. Our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Lorenzo Ariola, where we have video versions of this podcast, that podcast, and anything else I do. Check it out. I do a live show with the wonderful mint salad called Tits and Areolas, where we talk about a movie we watch, play a little game. It's fun. She's hot. I'm a piece of shit. It works out. Check that out. That's all. Or that under Tits and Areolas with Mint Salad. It has its own podcast too. If you just want to listen to it, check it out. Tits and Areolas with Mint Salad. That's Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, live on here and X. Um, Check out the Patreon, patreon.com/Lorenzo Ariola for early episodes, bonus episodes, deleted episodes, stuff like that. You get ad-free episodes as well. $5 a month gets everything for supporting the show. And I want to thank everyone who does support the show, all the Patreon members. I want to thank everyone for liking, subscribing, sharing the podcast, carrying. I appreciate it. Check out the art for the artist that does all the art for the show at Retro Horror Inc. on Twitter and Instagram. That's at Retro Horror Inc. I want to thank my Patreon members, everyone else. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.